All right, so here we are at 12.4. We are going to be solving multiplication and division equations. This is also not terribly difficult if you remember to do the reverse operations. So I'm going to first show you a model. If you say 2 times x equals 6, I'm going to show you the model as these are the x squares, or actually rectangles. We don't know. They're the question marks. So 2 of these are covering up a total of 6. So how many blocks is each of these covering up? Well, obviously, if you scooted this over here and this over here, each x rectangle is covering up 3 yellow blocks. So x equals 3. I wanted to show you that you can actually do this with a physical model. I could have little rectangles and little actual squares that did this. Or what I like to show is, here's the original, 2x equals 6. If I divide by, here's my vernaculum, if I divide by 2 on both sides, remember my algebra teacher likes to go on that second line, so 2 equals 2. So 2x divided by 2, we're going to cancel those out because 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then we have 6 divided by 2, which makes x equal 3. So if we have 5x equals 20, we're going to do 5x divided by 5 equals 20 divided by 5. Notice 5 equals 5. You can do that because it's still balanced in an equation. Well, obviously 20 divided by 5 is 4. These are super simple problems to show you how simple it is that all you do is divide on both sides. Now your numbers might get more difficult because they're going to throw some decimals at you and some things like that you're going to need to manipulate. So remember those decimal units. So I want you to use the technique where you divide both sides by the same number. So you can pause me at any time and try these 3, and I want you to show your steps. So pause right now. All right, when you unpause, you should have something on this one that looks like this. And then this will cancel out, so n equals 5. Here, 3m equals 15. We're going to divide both sides by 3. 3 equals 3. So this is going to cancel out. 15 divided by 3, m equals 5. Here, doesn't matter what side of the equal side the variable is on, so we're going to divide both by 2. So this is going to cancel out. 24 divided by 2 is 12. I said the answer. So 12 equals p, or you could do p equals 12. So there are 2 key statements to this. The first one is to solve a multiplication equation. You have to divide each side by the same number, which I showed right up here. So divide each side by the number that the variable is multiplied by. But to solve a division equation, you multiply each side by the divisor, and I'm going to show you that next. So it's the reverse of what we did up here. So if you have x divided by 7 equals 3, what we are going to do is we are going to multiply this side by 7 and this side by 7. So watch what happens. This is going to, when we cross reduce, that will cancel out. And so we get x by itself. Remember, it's the naughty variable that has to be all by himself on one side. So it's x equals 21, because 3 times 7 is 21. Let's try number 4 together, and I'm going to have you do 5, 6, and 7 on your own, possibly the starred one. So in this one, I'm just going to do a 2, multiply a 2 on this side, multiply a 2 on this side. So if I do that, this is going to cancel out and this is going to cancel out. So a is going to equal 7 times 2. So a equals 14. It is important that you put a equals 14, not just 14. So in algebra, you always put x equals a equals. That's just the way every mathematician will do it. So you can pause me if you're comfortable trying, otherwise I will work them out. So pause now if you want to try 5, 6, or 7. Okay, if you've unpaused, then I'm just going to go through it. We're going to multiply both sides by 5. So this will cancel out. So B is going to equal 6 times 5, which is 30. 45 equals C over 3. Sorry. We're going to multiply this side by 3 and this side by 3. So this is going to cancel out. So C is going to equal whatever 45 times 3 is. I'll work that out right here. So C is 135. Okay. And number 7. I'll try to go like this. I know that I've got to multiply this side by 8, so I can get rid of it. And then I'm going to multiply this side by 8. And so this is going to cancel out. So D is going to equal whatever 8 times 12, which should be 96. Or you could do D equals 96. Either I would count as correct. All right, so let's talk through in a competition, there were 3 separate rounds. The team's mean for the 3 rounds was 19.2. How many total points did they score? So the total points that they scored divided by 3 rounds is going to equal 19.2. Okay? So this is the total number of points. We know that they had to divide it by 3, so in order to solve this, we are going to, and I'll take a different color pen so you can see what I'm doing. These are the more complicated questions you're going to be asked. We're going to multiply by 3, we're going to multiply by 3. This will cancel out. So the total points is going to equal whatever 19.2 times 3. If you took the time to figure the arithmetic on that, you are going to get 57.6 points. Don't forget the points as the label on that. The hardest part of these kinds of questions is you need to think about what a mean is and how you figure out a mean. It's the total divided by something. And when you don't know the total, you divide it by how many rounds or games or whatever they are. Really work hard at figuring out what the original equation is. That is the most complicated part of this, and it will, through your years in algebra and algebra 2, figuring out things like this and how to set it up into a formula is going to be paramount. So if you're one of those kids that tends to see it in your head, train your brain to do this, because you will need this skill big time when you get into upper level math. All right? So that's just a quick overview on what to do. Refer back to this if you have any questions, especially these keys, and have a great lesson.